This is the GBI. Since 1937, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been on the job, providing quality support to the state's criminal justice community. Local law enforcement agencies statewide rely on the GBI for investigative assistance, up-to-date criminal justice information, and forensic expertise. Headquartered just outside Atlanta, today's GBI brings together some of the finest men and women in law enforcement. Through their skill and dedication, the GBI has become one of the most innovative and respected law enforcement agencies in the nation, and is accredited through the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. What began as an agency with only a handful of special agents and limited resources is now 3 divisions strong. Supported by an administrative section, the GBI is comprised of an investigative division, the Georgia Crime Information Center, and the Division of Forensic Sciences, or State Crime Lab. When a crime is committed, the investigative division of the GBI stands ready to provide assistance at the request of local law enforcement agencies. The division is the largest branch of the GBI, with work units located throughout Georgia. The GBI is an assisting agency, and by law can only become involved in most investigations at the request of a sheriff, police chief, superior court judge, district attorney, or upon the direction of the governor. Regional investigative offices strategically located across the state are the mainstay of the investigative division. Special agents assigned to field offices primarily investigate major crimes like homicide, sexual assault, crimes against children, armed robbery, fraud, high-profile public corruption cases, and instances of officer-involved use of force. These agents are highly skilled in all aspects of conducting a criminal investigation, including interviewing victims and witnesses, interrogating suspects, executing search warrants, and making arrests.
Police, search warrant!
They also offer expert testimony in court. Crime scene specialists are sworn agents, also assigned to each regional office to provide support in the area of evidence collection at crime scenes. These crime scene specialists utilize state-of-the-art technology and equipment to reconstruct crime scenes, which is used in the prosecution of criminal cases. They attend specialized training to include the National Forensic Academy's Body Farm. The Child Abuse Specialist Program for the Investigative Division ensures a special agent trained specifically to investigate crimes against children is assigned to each of the 15 regional field offices. These agents have received specialized training in the investigation and prosecution of child abuse, forensic interviews of children, child abuse crime scenes, and child abduction response. The child abuse specialist keeps current on issues involving both physical and sexual abuse of children, as well as child exploitation and maltreatment. Tackling Georgia's illegal drug trade is a combined effort by the GBI's regional drug enforcement offices and various local and federal drug task forces located throughout the state. Undercover agents assigned to these work units hit the streets in an effort to infiltrate both major and street-level drug markets. Through undercover buys, agents are making solid cases against dealers in court. The majority of the cases involve marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamine.
Police, let me see your hands. Do not move.
Agents are also battling prescription drugs.
Do not move.
Specialized work units within the investigative division provide unique services to Georgia law enforcement. The Child Exploitation and Computer Crimes Unit is staffed with special agents and digital forensic investigators who respond to crimes involving cyber enticement, child pornography cases, child sex trafficking, and network investigations to include all types of computer intrusions. The digital forensic investigators process all types of digital media and computers for electronic evidence to be used to support criminal investigations. This work unit also coordinates the Georgia Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC Task Force, whose mission is to assist state and local law enforcement agencies with protecting children from Internet predators. Forensic auditors assigned to the Financial Investigations Unit track illegally gained assets analyze financial reports, and monitor cash transactions involved in criminal activity. The Georgia Information Sharing and Analysis Center, better known as GSAC, was created as a direct result of the terrorist attacks of 9/11. It serves as the fusion center for Georgia and is staffed by the GBI, federal, state, and local agencies. The center gathers intelligence on all crimes in Georgia, including potential terrorist threats. The center transforms the flow of raw information related to criminal activity and terrorism into actionable intelligence. GSAC distributes bulletins, threat assessments, and other relevant intelligence products to law enforcement, public safety, emergency management, and private sector partners throughout Georgia. GSAC provides analytical support to law enforcement agencies statewide. The Special Operations Unit renders explosives safe using the latest in robotic technology. GBI bomb techs answer hundreds of suspicious package calls every year, and robots allow them to examine the packages without endangering their lives. The techs are also trained in containing and destroying explosives involving chemical and biological weapons. The Major Theft Unit was created to combat the cargo theft problem in Georgia. The unit identifies and targets individuals, organized crime groups, and other criminal enterprises responsible for cargo theft and other forms of major theft, which is a multi-million-dollar problem in Georgia. Pre-employment and criminal polygraph examinations are administered by the Polygraph Unit. All GBI polygraph examiners are certified through the American Polygraph Association. To ensure that special agents are well-trained and prepared to successfully perform their duties as agents, the training unit provides training in the latest investigative techniques, defensive tactics, emergency vehicle operations, firearms, and other law enforcement-related training. Special agents receive extensive training prior to being sworn in as agents and then are provided required in-service training annually. The GBI's forensic artist sketches suspects based on victim and witness descriptions. She also performs skull reconstructions of unidentified persons. With only skeletal remains to work with, a lifelike reconstruction aids in the identification process. When law enforcement needs fast, accurate criminal information, they turn to the Georgia Crime Information Center. No other division of the GBI relies more on technology to carry out its duties. GCIC was created in 1972 as a clearinghouse for criminal records. At that time, data was compiled manually. Today, the division is almost completely automated. Now, through handheld devices and laptop computers, officers and investigators can check for warrants and conduct stolen vehicle searches from the roadside or a crime scene. All of this information is made available through the Criminal Justice Information System, better known as CJIS. CJIS is a computerized network operated by GCIC that gives local law enforcement instant round-the-clock access to databases maintained by criminal justice agencies in Georgia, the FBI's National Crime Information Center, and other national and international sources. The network handles millions of inquiries each month, and that demand continues to grow as more data is added to the system. GCIC is constantly upgrading the network's capabilities. Digital imaging allows for instant access to mugshots, tattoos and scars, fingerprints, signatures, and even photographs of stolen property. A protective order registry is online and provides law enforcement with detailed information on individuals who have restraining orders filed against them. District attorneys and judges also reap the benefits of the CJIS network. Quick access to criminal history and court records are making it more difficult for an offender to conceal previous convictions and criminal identities. GCIC conducts on-site audits of every agency that uses the CJIS network. Utilizing the system comes with responsibility. There are strict standards and regulations that must be followed with access and dissemination of criminal history data. GCIC has always been a frontrunner in innovation and was the first state criminal repository in the nation, with a fully integrated automated fingerprint identification system. APHIS, for short, makes fingerprint identifications and then updates criminal history records as a result of the identification process. Georgia's police departments and sheriff's offices submit fingerprints to GCIC electronically. Within minutes, an arrestee's record has been updated and the booking agency has the criminal information it needs. The Rapid ID system housed at the GBI was developed as a means for law enforcement officers in the field to quickly and accurately establish the identity of a person through a fingerprint-based check. Officers are provided with an offender's arrest record at the state and national levels. Automatic secondary searches of wanted files, watch lists, sex offender registries, and probation parole lists are included as part of this identification. The system is accessed through a secure internet connection by authorized law enforcement personnel via mobile fingerprint devices. APHIS is also a powerful investigative tool. Each year, hundreds of cases are solved as a result of matches made between latent fingerprints left at crime scenes and prints stored in the APHIS database. Georgia ranks among the top states in the nation in the number of criminal fingerprint records processed yearly. GCIC has prints of almost 3.8 million persons on file. The GBI's Information Technology Branch not only supports law enforcement, but is also a valuable resource to the public. The Georgia Sex Offender Registry, administered through GCIC, was launched on the Internet in 1998 and quickly became one of the GBI's most visited sites on its webpage. Since then, millions of Internet users have checked out the registry and educated themselves on convicted sex offenders living in their communities. The Uniform Crime Reporting Unit also posts its stats on the GBI's website. Each year, the unit collects and compiles data on crimes committed here in Georgia. The Applicant Services Unit is responsible for all operations and functions associated with the non-criminal justice use of fingerprints and criminal history record information, some of which include pre-employment background checks for child care and healthcare employees, state licensing, and firearm permits. The number of transactions has grown tremendously since the events of 9/11, with GCIC processing approximately 350,000 non-criminal justice transactions per year. Evidence left behind at a crime scene tells the story of what took place during the commission of the crime. In Georgia, it is up to the GBI Division of Forensic Sciences to provide investigators with the scientific facts they need to solve cases. Established in 1952, Georgia's modern-day system has crime laboratories located throughout the state. At GBI headquarters, an annex lab and standalone medical examiner's facility now provides a contemporary environment for the latest in evidence testing. The crime lab performs expert analysis on hundreds of thousands of pieces of evidence each year. It was the first state crime laboratory system in the U.S. to receive both national and international accreditation. Two of the crime lab's most requested services are chemistry and toxicology. The chemistry section, also known as drug identification, analyzes and identifies suspected narcotics and other controlled substances. The section also supports public safety in suspected arson cases. Through specialized testing, scientists determine whether an accelerant was used to ignite a fire. The toxicology section isolates and identifies drugs and poisons in human tissue and fluid specimens. Blood testing in suspected DUI cases is also performed by this unit to identify motorists who drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Advances in genetic testing have made the forensic biology DNA section a valuable resource in solving crimes. Now it only takes a pin drop of blood, semen, or saliva to link a suspect to a crime. The science is so exact that with the exception of identical twins, a DNA sample can be narrowed down to one individual. Breakthroughs in DNA technology are not only assisting in solving today's crimes, but are used to solve crimes committed years ago. The Forensic Biology section maintains Georgia's Combined DNA Index System, or CODIS, a national database established by the FBI. This system stores DNA profiles of Georgia's convicted felons as well as from casework. The samples are then cross-checked to match offenders to cases or link cases to each other. Thanks to CODIS, unsolved rapes, homicides, robberies, and other crimes are being solved on a daily basis. The impressions section offers a variety of services from fingerprints to shoe and tire analysis. Fingerprints are just as telling as DNA. There are no two individuals with identical prints, and examiners with the latent print section of the crime lab take advantage of this fact every day as they link suspects to crimes. Latent prints are created when hands come in contact with an object. The natural resins and oils in the fingers leave behind an imprint that is latent or not clearly visible. But examiners have ways to enhance prints on almost any surface. Once latent prints are collected, an examiner must determine to whom they belong. To find a possible match, the prints are searched against GCIC's Automated Fingerprint Identification System, or AFIS. This database contains the fingerprint records of more than 3.8 million persons arrested in Georgia. AFIS has been instrumental in linking suspects to thousands of crimes. The Firearms and TOOLMARKS section of the crime lab provides reliable scientific support in the areas of firearms and toolmark comparisons. Like fingerprints, most firearms are unique. Imperfections in the manufacturing process of a gun create distinct markings on bullets and cartridge cases when they are fired. The same is true of tools when they come in contact with another object. The impressions they leave behind are unique. Using state-of-the-art microscopes, specially trained examiners determine whether bullets and cartridge cases were fired from a suspect's weapon or a particular tool was used during the commission of a crime. In addition, this section oversees NIBAN, the National Integrated Ballistic Identification Network for Georgia. This database allows cartridge cases to be searched against like evidence collected from crime scenes. The network, administered by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, has been instrumental in linking suspects' weapons to unsolved crimes. The premise behind the science of contact trace evidence is simple. Anytime a person or object comes in contact with something or someone else, a transfer may take place. A hair from the suspect is left on the victim. A carpet fiber becomes stuck to a suspect's shoe. Paint is transferred to a body during a hit and run. The trace evidence section of the crime lab performs examinations of microscopic evidence that provides valuable leads for investigators and physical evidence of contact in criminal cases. Scientists perform comparisons on paints, hair, glass, fibers, plastic, fractured materials, and gunshot primer residue. Another service provided by the crime lab includes the implied consent section, which administers the state's breathalyzer program. Rounding out the Division of Forensic Sciences is the State Medical Examiner's Office. The GBI Medical Examiner's Office is accredited by the National Association of Medical Examiners, or NAME, which is the sole medical examiner's office accreditation body in the United States. Staffed by highly qualified forensic pathologists, the office performs autopsies for the majority of Georgia's 159 counties. The mission of the GBI Medical Examiner's Office is to conduct these investigations with the utmost scientific and medical accuracy and integrity in order to provide answers to families, law enforcement agencies, and the criminal and civil justice systems of the state of Georgia. Within the GBI Medical Examiner's Office is the Child Abuse Investigative Support Center, which provides forensic medical analysis of living and deceased victims at the request of law enforcement agencies, district attorneys' offices, and child protection personnel. While the size and scope of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has changed over the years, its commitment to the criminal justice community has not. Using the latest in technology, the men and women of the GBI are committed to the quick resolution of justice and to providing quality investigative assistance, forensic expertise, and up-to-date criminal justice information to the agencies and citizens it serves.